Hello and welcome to Analyzing Your Business with Jeweler's Benchmark. Today we're going to show you how to navigate Jeweler's Benchmark and demonstrate some of the valuable tools available to you as a member. We highly recommend you make it a habit to review this information and use it as a basis for a monthly financial review. This will help you look critically at your business operations. I'll show you a high-level analysis with a report card that summarizes your overall results. Then we'll dive into some specific trends and issues where you can really see how your business is performing over time. I'll also show you how to compare your results to other jewelers like you, and this lets you see specifically where you're performing well and where you can improve. And with all this, you gain insight to help set meaningful goals and determine action plans. And with the right goals, you can find yourself and your team motivated to boost sales, profit, and cash flow. Keep in mind as we walk through Jeweler's Benchmark today, there is other training available to you going forward. Accessing Jeweler's Benchmark is a video that goes through the details of logging in and user access, and keeping your figures up to date will demonstrate the specifics of what data is required monthly and how you get it imported into the system, with some tips on troubleshooting any data issues you might bump into. We'll touch on this briefly in our time today as well, so let's get started. This is the Jeweler's Benchmark home screen, and it's what you'll see when you first log in. There are tabs across the top to help you easily navigate the site. We're going to start at the top left with the Home tab. There are some helpful features here, including the calendar and a button to set up automated reminders, but the key piece here is the to-do list. This automatically tracks what monthly information you've already entered into the system and what's due next. For this location of Metro City, you can see they have financial items due for August 2017. This means their data before August is already entered, and August is the next month of information that needs to be imported. One thing to note for companies with more than one store, there's a location button at the top right of the screen. Use this to shift between your locations. Click on this link to see all the stores that you have access to. For Metro City, they only have a single store, so only one location is listed. The next tab in Jeweler's Benchmark is the Reporter tab. Think of this as the Data tab, as this is where all of your entered data is housed and where you'd go to import or enter new information. It's broken out into categories, including the KPI Reporter for non-financial data and the Financial Reporter. By clicking into the KPI Reporter, you're able to view any month of KPI data that's already been entered under the completed items, and you can enter new information under items due. You're also able to edit any past data if needed. For example, if we know an employee changed roles in June, we'd want to reflect that in our KPI data. Click Edit on June 2017 under Completed Items, and you can see all the KPI data already entered. It includes employees, square footage, credit line, and inventory balances. If you make any changes here, make sure you select Save and Exit at the right of the screen to keep those changes. The next piece is the Financial Reporter, also listed under the Reporter tab, and here you can see your information as it's been imported directly from your financial statements, your P&L and balance sheet. Let's look at June 2017 again by clicking Financial Detail and then Edit. You can see that at this stage your data is in a raw chart of accounts format. This is where you're able to make manual adjustments to your data, as well as import your information from your financial statements. Tune into the Keeping Your Figures Up-to-Date video for more details on that step. The next tab is called Analytics, and it gives you a ton of useful information about your business operations, including benchmarking, ranking, and trends over time. Just like the Reporter tab, it's broken out into categories at the top of the screen. The first one, at the top left, is the dashboard. The first item in the dashboard is the report card, and it's also the opening screen when you click into Analytics. This is that high-level overview I mentioned earlier. It gives you a snapshot of your store's operations for the month, and it defaults to your most recent month of data. Since Metro City is financial and KPI data entered through July 2017, that's the month that automatically populates here. If you click on the month drop-down, you can select a different month to give you that snapshot for a different period. There is an additional drop-down where you can select a different comparison. It defaults to 1 month prior, so here I have June 2017 selected. May 2017 would automatically be the comparison month. Use the drop-down to look at year-over-year results to see how this year's June compares to last year's month of June. And just in one quick glance, you can see that sales are up 14% this June compared to June 2016. The sparkline charts on the right provide a quick view of your sales and cost trends, and you're able to dive into these for more detail. Let's look at sales. Click on the sparkline chart, and you can see the last 12 months of sales in blue compared to the system average in orange. In other words, the orange line is the average for all the jewelers included in the jeweler's benchmark system. Here we can easily see the months Metro City is performing above and mostly below the system average. You can also change the comparison on these charts. Using the Compare To drop-down, you can choose prior year. This is a great way to easily see your performance over time. Right away, I can see that Metro City has outperformed last year's sales in every month except October and April. Just this quick review drives questions about your business. What did we do differently in those months? Was marketing different, or was there an event last April we didn't do this year? These questions can help you make a plan going forward. To exit the sparkline chart, click the Report Card button at the top left to return to the dashboard screen. If you scroll down in the report card, you'll see the comparative analysis. These dials give you a percentile ranking in sales and cost categories for cost of sales, labor, and operating costs. Your percentile rank shows you how you compare to the jeweler's benchmark system. For Metro City in June, they ranked 31st percentile for sales, 54th for cost of sales, 25th for labor costs, and 8th for operating costs. 100th percentile is always the best performer, and you can use the colors on the dials to tell if you're above or below the system average. Sales rank of 31st percentile means Metro City underperformed the system average in June, but 54th percentile for cost of sales means their costs were also lower than the system average, so their margin is just above the average. 25th and 8th percentile for labor and operating costs means Metro City's costs were significantly higher than the average for the system in June. These percentiles are based on a comparison to the whole system, but you can also change it to look only at other stores with similar annual sales volume to yours. If you click in the Compare To drop-down and select the Store Sales Comparison Group, you can see how your rankings change compared to this targeted comparison group. All of these analytics items so far have been a part of the report card. The next piece of analytics is the scorecard. That gives you a quick view of a monthly trend. It shows a single month at a time compared to 1 month prior. You can pick the month you want to view in the date drop-down on the right. Here we're looking at June for Metro City, and you can see the monthly amounts as well as a percentile ranking with a color code. Red is 0 to 25 percentile, orange is 25 to 50th percentile, yellow is 50 to 75th, and green is 75th to 100th percentile. And then there's a variance column that calculates the monthly percentage change in each area. A quick review will show you where you improved since last month, and the red triangles will show you declines. Here you can see operating expenses increased 11.5% since last month, but we want to know why. What changed in that time? You can click into the operating expenses line for more detail, and here I'm looking for the red triangles that show declines. Repairs and maintenance jumps out almost immediately with an 8.3% increase since last month. And that begs the question, do we know what drove that? Is that a cost that we're going to get hit with each month going forward, or is that a one-time bump? The scorecard lets you see these quick comparisons with little effort, and it's easy to find big monthly swings in your business. The last item in the dashboard is the lost profits analysis. You can also get to this from the report card. This is meant to quickly show you areas of opportunity. If you were able to perform as well as the system average in each of these areas, this is the additional annual profit you'd achieve. It looks at your monthly performance in each cost category, compares it to the system average, then rolls it up for the year to determine the total lost profits number. You can drill into any item in the lost profits pie to see more detail. Looking at Metro City's lost profits pie, advertising and marketing in orange is their largest area of opportunity to align their cost efficiency with the system and earn more profit. By clicking on the orange slice, you can see the advertising spend over the last 12 months compared to the system average. Your results are in blue and the comparison is orange. Maybe you'd like to know if your advertising spend has improved this year. You can change the comparison group to prior year, and now you can see year-over-year changes in spending. Right now we're looking at advertising spend as a percent of sales. Click in the Graph As drop-down to change this to actual dollars spent. Now you can easily see that Metro City spent the same amount or more on advertising in each month in the last 12 months. Let's return to the lost profit pie for a moment. A couple features of the lost profits analysis include that you're able to look at a full year, a specific month, or an average over the past 12 months, using the date dropdown. You can also suppress items you know are not areas of opportunity for your store. For example, if you know that employee health insurance is a fixed expense for your store and there's no potential upside there, you can click on it in the legend to remove it from the pie. This can help you focus on real areas of opportunity in your operations. We're going to move out of the dashboard now to the next categories for sales, cost of sales, labor cost, and operating expenses. Each of these categories includes the same 3 analytical items: a tracker, comparison, and detail. We're going to start with the sales tracker. It shows you total sales over the last 12 months with a benchmark line in orange, where you can pick the system average, your prior year results, or store sales to compare your results to. The comparison shows your mix, or what portion of sales were earned from each sales category of showcase, special order, memo, and so on. Right now we're looking at June for Metro City year over year, where the blue columns are current year results. In the month drop-down, I'm going to choose an average over the last 12 months to assess how their mix has changed. You can see at a glance that the proportion of memo sales and special order has increased, while the proportion of showcase sales has decreased from 83% of total sales down to 47%. The last analytical piece is called detail. This is similar to the comparison, but shows you a pie chart of your sales mix to easily see what portion of your sales came from each category. To get a quick visual of how your sales mix differs from the mix for the system average, scroll down and compare the 2 pie charts. And again, you are able to change the comparison benchmark to suit your analysis. Looking back up at the headings, you can also view this information for cost of sales, labor, and operating costs. Each is broken out in the same structure as the sales category. Keep in mind in these analytics screens, especially the cost of sales, that the detail and comparison show you information about mix across sales categories. So if your sales mix is significantly different than your comparison set, the story about your margin could be misleading. So keep differences in mix and margin in mind while reviewing this information. If you're looking at an overall cost category and want to dive into more detail, head to the account tracker. It includes all financial line items from a high level, like total sales and total labor costs, but it also provides each line item included in that total. For example, we've been able to look at overall labor costs, but now we can click into labor costs and drill into a specific line, like sales salaries. There's a lot of power here to answer questions using the account tracker, like how does my owner compensation compare to other jewelers? Since it's a separate line in labor costs, we can look at it. Am I compensating my salespeople in line with the network? Or are my staff costs too high as a % of sales? What about my digital marketing spend? Am I investing enough, or am I behind other jewelers my size? All of these and more are line items in the account tracker that you can easily review and compare to others in the system and then use to optimize your operations. The last piece of the analytics section is the KPI reporter on the far right, and this is where your non-financial data comes into play. We combine information from your financial statements with KPI data to calculate key ratios that target productivity and profitability. For example, we use sales from your income statement and employee counts from your KPI data to calculate sales per employee over time. That's the first ratio you see here. There's also staff cost, showcase, and inventory ratios that you can compare your results over the last 12 months either to the system average or to other stores with your sales level. For each ratio, you can also see your percentile rank and the number of stores currently included in the average. One important note here regarding confidentiality. This screen shows the number of stores reported. There are currently 7 in the sales sort. As this number grows when stores import their monthly data, the benchmark is more reliable, as it's less likely to be distorted by an unusual result. We do monitor this information for extreme outliers and will remove them if necessary. But if there are too few results when you go to look at a comparison, any comparison in Jeweler's Benchmark, the results will come up blank. This is a security feature to ensure each store's information remains confidential. And that brings us to a new tab at the top called Reports. The reports here are a great way to look at your results for specific periods or over time. We've included several reports that are for you to use as you see fit, so feel free to run each of them for different periods or to help you look at your business operations. A good place to start is with the balance sheet, income statement, and KPI analysis. The KPI Analysis Report will show you all the ratios summarized in the Analytics section, plus more that we've selected specifically to evaluate a jeweler's operations. For any report labeled as legal entity or consolidated, it will show all of your locations, either together or broken apart separately. But if you have only one store, you can still use them to look at your operations. We'll use the KPI Analysis Report as an example. First, choose your report period. For Metro City, I'm going to choose June 2017. Then select Run Report. Be sure to turn off your pop-up blocker for this site before trying to run any reports, or you'll get a blank screen. So here's the KPI report for June 2017. You can choose any time period that you have data entered. You're also able to export reports. Click on the icon that shows a disk and arrow, and you can choose to export either to a CSV, PDF, or Excel workbook to help incorporate these reports and analytics into a regular habit of reviewing your operations. I want to thank you for taking the time to walk through the Jeweler's Benchmark with me today. I hope this answered your questions on navigating the program and gives you a sense of what it can do for your business. As I mentioned earlier, there are additional training videos available to answer technical login and data-related questions, and I encourage you to log in today to gain insight to your operations and comparisons to the industry, and to get started setting meaningful and actionable goals to improve your business and get motivated. If you have any questions at all or are not yet a member, please sign up today. Our contact email is jewelersbenchmark@profitsoup.com, and we definitely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.